Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over weather cards, the different weather effects that are in the game, and generally how the mechanics of weather work. Now there are three different types of bronze weather cards in Gwent. There is Biting Frost, and when you play a weather card you'll target an opposing row. It will apply the weather effect to that row, and then it will do damage to opposing units on that row at the start of every turn that your opponent takes. So the Biting Frost effect will do 2 damage to the weakest unit on the target row at the beginning of every turn. Use that one. The impenetrable fog effect does 2 damage to the strongest unit on the row every turn. So it's kind of like the opposite of Biting Frost. And the final bronze weather card, Torrential Rain, will do 1 damage to 2 different random units on the row. I'll play that on the middle just to show what it looks like. So each weather effect has a unique graphical effect here, which you can use to distinguish what sort of damage that they're doing. There are 2 different silver weather cards currently in the game. There is White Frost. This one applies the Biting Frost effect to 2 adjacent rows. And if you apply a weather effect to a row, it'll overwrite the current effects. So for instance, if I use White Frost here, it'll cast Frost on both of the 2 back rows and clear the fog and rain that's currently there. So now his whole board is frosted here. There is also Skellige Storm. This is a kind of unique weather effect that will deal damage to units, 2 damage, 1 damage, and then 1 damage, to up to 3 units starting from the left on that row. So this one can do a lot of damage to 1 row if the opponent happens to be stacking up a lot of units on the same row. And it has its own unique weather effect there. And then there are 2 golden weather effects. There's Rag Nar Roog, which I have in my hand here. This applies a damaging effect that's the same thing as fog, essentially, doing 2 damage to the strongest unit on every single row. So let's try that. And then there's an analogous spell for frost, which is known as Drought. This applies what's essentially a frost effect to every single row, which deals 2 damage to the weakest unit on every row, and has a different graphical effect. Now there are ways to get weather cards out of your deck without just playing one out of your hand that doesn't actually put any points on the board immediately. For instance, this Aretuza Adept card I have in my hand, she will summon a bronze weather card from my hand and let me play it. So with her, I get 3 strength on my side, plus I put a damage over time effect on the enemy. The mage cards for each faction also tend to have weather options. So if I play Death Mold here, I can either cast Torrential Rain, which is a weather effect. I can use Thunder to do some damage. Or he also has the option of this card called Clear Skies. What Clear Skies will do is it'll clear your side of the board of any weather effects that happen to be on your side. Currently I don't have any weather affecting me, but I will choose this to show you what the graphics look like. When you clear skies, this little sun effect happens, and any weather you're suffering from will be cleared away. So, if the opponent had a clear skies effect, it would be very smart for him to use it, because he has a lot of weather ticking away damage on him right now. I will say there are ways of dealing with weather apart from using clear skies. There are certain units in certain factions that are able to clear weather from one individual row, and there are other ways of minimizing or playing around the damage of weather without actually clearing it. For instance, you could play a unit that has a lot of armor on it into a row that's taking damage, and that armor can block some damage. Or you could play a unit that, say, moves one of your allies to a different row and kind of pull your units out of rows affected by weather. That's all there is to say about weather at the moment, but in the next video I'm going to go into more detail about different sorts of ongoing effects and timers that can occur at the beginning and at the end of each turn.